I not as a form of flexing, but as a form of demonstrating to all of you how absolutely insane I am and how little I value my own time. I, honest to God, probably have around 15,000 hours combined in a bunch of different 4Xs. And once you are at that level of playing a bunch of 4Xs, like, you really do stop paying attention to the game. That's like the core of what I'm trying to communicate to people in Vivisection. Not as a form of like shilling that video, but is just as like a form of like how I approach any 4X. Whenever I approach any 4X, I always look for widgets. Because I gotta tell you that I have played so many goddamn 4Xs where there's just like all these unnecessary numbers that really do nothing except interact with dopamine. Because, like, you know, and this is not meant as a form of attack against anybody. This is just meant as like a form of description of truth. Humans operate mostly on behavioral patterns that you can influence through dopamine, and they you know, things make people feel good. You make them want to do the things that make them feel good. But unfortunately, in like a ridiculous number of 4Xs, there's all these widgets that really do not actually make you stronger, but by using them, they make you weaker. And so whenever I approach any sort of 4X, I use my own basic heuristics of like snowballing as the core fundamental of basically every single 4X that I've ever played. Because that really is how you play 4Xs. People like to galaxy brain late game stuff a lot of the time because of, again, dopamine problems. But like on a very basic level, once you have gotten to the point where you've played too many 4Xs, you realize that snowballing is the only thing that matters, and how high your numbers are at the end of the game if everything goes perfectly matters way less than how high your numbers are at the beginning of the game. And I gotta say, this is what we're gonna be vibing about today. On a basic level, this is probably the best designed game I've ever seen out of anybody. I still think that Endless Space 2 is Amplitude's artistic masterpiece, so we are going to be doing some Let's Plays on Endless Space 2, both for fun and pedagogical value, but like, this game, in terms of the tensions that it creates for me, who is a person who has lost his mind playing 4Xs, are fascinating on a fundamental level. Like, the concept of the fame system itself is something that I think a lot of people get hung up on, because they think that, okay, I want to win the game, I want to have the most fame, I'm going to maximize fame. But like, if you know how to play a 4X, you realize that you should not be doing that. You should be snowballing all the time in every 4X no matter what. But this game punishes you for that, even if you're just like an incredibly high-skilled player. If you're not paying any attention when you're just like vibing and streaming and stuff, you can get demolished by the AI if you do not prepare correctly, because like you end the game, but like you have no fame. But like, Kidson, I hope you're in the right place, because one of the things that I want to highlight in this game, in this stream, is that like, I think the biggest problems with Humankind are like in the first 10 turns, and I think that's unfortunate because it causes everybody to bounce off of it unless they're like really looking through the widgets and like looking to see the design intention of the people behind it. And the design intention of the people behind it was just unbelievably clever, because it really is just pure tension throughout the entire game. Unfortunately, the pure tension throughout the entire game is something that the game, I'm assuming, like, does not communicate to the player at all in terms of their tutorials. One of the things that I have against it is I do not like the narrator in this game. I'm gonna leave him on, but I think he's silly and ridiculous in ways that are unhelpful to the player. I think they could use a professor here. Like, no, I love how culture swapping works, because I think culture swapping is another one of those things that, again, creates tension within the game. Because really, every 4X, as a fundamental law, should be focused, as a player, you should be focused on snowballing. You should be focused on getting as powerful as humanly possible, as quickly as possible. And so without like the concept of a fame system to balance that out, you just click through to like the next culture every single time, brain dead as possible, just to get it going. But like, the way that it operates in Humankind, in, I'm assuming like a multiplayer thing, is that I'm gonna guess, Bruno, there's gonna be a lot of hypotheses in these videos. If I say something wrong about multiplayer, do not feel bad calling me out. I've played like 4 games with a bunch of people who are not yet in the snowballing phase, so like, I have a lot of data that I have collected on my own, but not a lot of data that I've collected with other people, and you are an invaluable member to the community, and I know you know some stuff, so please feel free to chime in. Yeah, Kidson says, I agree to disagree, don't have a problem with the mechanics itself, it's not how it's glued together. Yeah, exactly, Kidson. That's my main critique of Humankind. It's not the design, it's actually the presentation. I think the presentation in Humankind, if it focused on the things that mattered, and helped the player not focus on the things that don't matter, then they would have a great time, because it isn't just like a pure widget spinner. Some ways it is, Anthony. Widget spinning is something that, like, I don't even use as, like, a critique specifically. It's an insanely snowbally 4X for sure in some dimensions, I know, but, like, I have to assume that, like, in multiplayer that there is attention on fame, because there just has to be, as a like fundamental law, evolutionary out of the game's own mechanics, that you really cannot neglect fame entirely in multiplayer against other people, which means that, like, if the AI were playing well and demonstrating like good play patterns to people to follow, that I think the snowball E4X problem would kind of disappear because of the rules of the game itself. And that's like what we do and like why we vibe and what we're going to be talking about here. Yeah, the narrative is great in a lot of Amplitude games. I think they could just fix it up a little bit here and help people focus on the things that are actually important in the game, and everybody would jam. Like, this game is so unbelievably good. But unfortunately, one of the biggest problems in Humankind for myself is the map gen, and so we are going to have to start with a critique of that. The map gen here is hilariously imbalanced in regards to deltas. Like, if you start with 2 Mammoths, then like it kind of doesn't matter what else is happening in the game. You just are 10,000 times stronger than everybody else. I think that's the real imbalance problem for me. There are some like little widget numbers that Amplitude probably could adjust between the different cultures, but as we play and explain the tensions in the game, I hope that you will begin to feel about the imbalances in Humankind the way that I do, which is as a feature of game design and not a bug. I think that the balance problems there can be like thinned out with widget adjustments, but I think are inherent fundamental laws to the game itself that I think that once you understand how to interact with it, and once the AI understands how to interact with it, everyone will have a much better time playing this game, because it really is sick. But yeah, map gen in Humankind is an atrocious mess. It is so bad, and I think that one can be very easily fixed by Amplitude Studios if they want to, and I really hope they do, because this game is so good. So we're gonna be playing here on Humankind difficulty. We're not trying necessarily to win, we're just trying necessarily to vibe and talk about game design, but we are gonna like be playing relatively tight and we'll go as far as we can into the game as we get, but because it's gonna be a lot of walker asides and talking about how much I love the game design of this, please do not be surprised if we end this in the medieval era. It's not like a question of me bouncing off of the save file, it's just like that's not the goal of this video. The goal of this video is talk about like how much I love this game and the problems that can be fixed in it, so that hopefully you can love it as much as I do too. Alright, so we're gonna be jamming with our dude, and we're gonna just like jump in here, and then we're gonna talk about this game sort of like from the perspective of well, like, it's not even that it turns necessarily just into district spamming. Like, for me, I care about the first 30 turns of, like, every 4X way more than I do about all the rest of it. Derails, I'm gonna be streaming multiplayer Age of Wonders 4 every Sunday for the remainder of that save file with me in real life. I might be streaming some skirmish mod on Saturdays with Winsley and those guys. I'm absolutely gonna be there, so if you are desperate for walker streams and, like, do not... And I'm just like, I'm just like, I want to just play the game at home and I don't want to have to deal with being a streamer because I'm lazy or tired or whatever. Then on Saturdays, just check out Winslay's skirmish. I promise I will be there even if I'm not necessarily streaming. And then on Sundays, I will 100% be streaming our multiplayer game. And I'm also going to go ahead and commit to doing an extremely hilariously tongue-in-cheek nonsense kind of grading of the pre-built rulers as a stream, because that does not deserve to be a video. That is gonna be just like it's gonna be bug hunter level of absurdity. So if I made that into a video, it would be a waste of my time and a waste of your eyeballs. It'll be there for people who are crazy like Alex. But we're gonna integrate some AOW stuff in, but that's not gonna be the focus here. The focus here is gonna be on this game's design, because I think that the way that it makes me think and feel in the early game is really impressive, because of the way that it makes me like evaluate pacing. And pacing is not just in Age of Wonders 4, like clearing and killing stuff. It's everything in any 4X.
The weight of all those
yeah, like, exactly. Nay, I think that there are a lot of things they could do to work on AOW, but I think that if they just fix up the auto-resolve, then everything will be great there. Like, fix up the auto-resolve and smooth out the insane balance problems, and AOW is in pretty good shape. People just need to play it right, and that's what Vivisection is about, because otherwise you're just going to be lost in space. So, in Humankind, here in Amplitude Studios games, first thing that I love about basically every Amplitude Studios game is how unbelievably beautiful they are to me. I just really like I love the little art that they've put in here. It speaks to me on a very basic fundamental level, and that's something that I just kind of like find all the time. But they also have just wonderful music. So I'm going to try to like just let you guys vibe with that whenever I can. But here we have started at the beginning of the game with our tribe. Now the tribe is like the very basic form of snowballing. This is where I kind of hope that Amplitude Studios, if they ever go back and like do a tutorial, that they kind of teach the players a little bit about archaeology and like anthropology and like carrying capacity of hunting and stuff like that. Because I think that is really how you create good dopamine tools for the players to interact with. I don't think that 4Xs should not utilize dopamine tools. I think they should utilize dopamine tools to reinforce good behaviors out of the player and help them enjoy it. And I think if the game told players on turn 1, like, hey, you have tribes, you're going to be going around trying to pick up food and killing things, but you're a hunter-gatherer society, and food is really important in both Humankind as well as in reality. And as you like clear the board and pick up things, you'll probably start to realize that like you need a settled place in order for your people to grow and live. And so to push you guys towards clicking out of the Neolithic era and into the ancient era, from not just like a mechanical standpoint, but also just from like a fundamental value standpoint. And as you play the game, also you do notice that like you really should not be leaving the hunter-gatherer phase, the Neolithic phase, super duper duper early. That's a critique that I think that is based off of nonsense. Like the AI here in this game needs to stop clicking through to ancient before turn 5. Like that's just creating bad patterns for people to ape, and a very, very, very easy fix. But like, I think that Humankind is incredible. I think that the way that it encourages the player to think about not only playing the game, but also human history, and also like the way that human history evolved is really sweet. Yeah, like that's the thing. In a turn-based game, ultimately, in any turn-based game, especially a good turn-based 4X, everything is tempo, because the stronger you are early, the better everything is going to go for you. I promise. I have played way too many 4Xs, and absolutely all of them follow this law, and that's just like why I love the fame system, because if you do not have any fame at the end of the day, you're completely dead. So this is one of the map gen problems that like I just think is kind of silly in Humankind. If you're gonna do this like wildly imbalanced issue where like some people get 400 food by like turn 5 and some people get 0, the game is not gonna be fun. That is the biggest issue of map generation for me for Humankind. The deltas between starts are ridiculous. So that's the other thing, Sino. I think that that having good things and imbalance, whenever we click through to the next age, we will talk about this, but I think that the imbalance that exists within the cultures as a form of pedagogical tooling is perfect. I think the actual numbers are probably wrong, but I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm not going to go out and like make suggestions on what numbers should be, because I have like 300 hours in this game. I love it a lot, but it has so many problems in the early game in regards to AI behavior that I just like cannot. I need Amplitude to fix it, please, 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 because I want to play this game on stream sometimes with my friends and do multiplayer things, but like single player is incredibly rough. The AI does not understand the rules of the game at all, and that can be pretty frustrating, at least initially, until you learn to ignore that the AI itself right now is a widget, and that the game itself is just like an artistic masterpiece, and that the AI will get better. So yeah, we're just like scouting around and just trying to see things and look for food. Food is one of the basic scaling things that you look for in 4Xs once you've played enough of them. So for me, like 4Xs, we talk about this in Age of Wonders 4, but 4Xs really have divided in my brain into 3.5s and 4Xs, where 3.5s are the ones that are like city builders, and 4Xs are the ones like Chainsaw Massacre, Heroes of Might and Magic, and Age of Wonders 4. And the tension there in those games mostly is that in 3.5s, a lot of the scaling that you get exists on your cities. Therefore, a lot of the scaling that you get exists on the infrastructure as well as the population of the people living in those cities. That's just like basic fundamental law in a true 3.5. And so in a 3.5, unsurprisingly, food is just like a lot more important. Whereas in a 4X, like a real true 4X, food does not matter on any of them. Like all you really do need in a true 4X is like units to kill things. And that's not a statement of boring, that's a statement of hilarious fun. But like people who think that food matters in Age of Wonders 4, or like other little widget dingly bops matter in Heroes of Might and Magic. In Heroes of Might and Magic, your economy is making units and fighting things, and that's just the way it is. Yeah, like there Bruno. I think I have this currently as like what I have it listed with people able to like say whatever they want to in terms of, and it'll like stick around in chat indefinitely. I think I left that on. So if you know something valuable that you think that Amplitude could learn from if they somehow end up finding this stream, then please say it. Like I want to share the knowledge of the information with the community at large. Even if Amplitude never ends up watching this video, it doesn't matter. Like if other people do, then the community at large will learn. And I know you are an invaluable source of knowledge. So like just vibe, guy. Like you can teach everybody everything. This is not a no coaching backseating kind of stream here. This is us, the people who love this game, just kind of like talking about how we love it and how we want it to get better. So here, food distribution does not make sense. It should be more available to people, so that way they feel like how good things are at the beginning of the game. But then it should also kind of like disappear. So the way that it operates right now is that it gives you all this food at like over time to kind of encourage you to like float in the Neolithic era indefinitely. I don't think that works from a game design standpoint to create tensions in the game the way that the culture system normally works. So I think that what they should do is just put a lot of stuff on the game, and then like instead of adding more pickups as Neolithic goes on, have those pickups either like never replenish or actually disappear. And then also on the note of like mammoths, I do not like sanctuaries spawning mammoths at all. I think that mammoths at the very least should like operate with some sort of biological process. Like if you do not kill this mammoth, then it might spawn another one in a couple of turns, because that creates tension, and that tension in terms of snowballing is the thing that I love. Like it is so good that this game is so full of it, and it's a little messy in regards to the execution on some things, but I really do think that this game is just like a masterpiece of game design in terms of what it makes my brain do whenever I'm playing a 4X, because it makes me think. And so many 4Xs for me, not as a form of critique, but as just like a form of truth. They are games that I really can just like 100% turn my brain off on. And this is not. There's so much going on here constantly for me. But we're just going to scout around, and because we know that in the Neolithic era that, you know, you want to grow your population a lot as a form of snowballing, but also is just sort of like an expression of the way that the hunter-gatherer societies operated. Unfortunately, it looks like we are just a gatherer society here. I don't see any hunting other than like the one bear that killed our dude. So this is gonna be a really low powered start just because of the way that the game works in Humankind. Hunting is the best. But I think we can still make some stuff happen here. We're gonna put some pops together, get that food. This is a 3.5, so food is the most important thing, sort of. And that is how we're gonna frame things. Sort of is kind of like always a good rule when it comes to a good 4X. If you have perfect heuristics in a good 4X, it's just like not. That means that game is not a 4X if there are perfect heuristics. All right, sweet. So anybody in the community who like is gonna play multiplayer with me in the future, I have changed my mind in regards to mammoth hunting. Unless you're really good at positioning it, then just go ahead and like hurl one unit into the mammoth and then hurl another unit into the mammoth, because it allows you to like take the fight basically guaranteed 100% of the time with the second one. And so that second hunter, you can actually like you can do the same kind of stratospheric EXP scaling that we talked about in Vivisection, while also maintaining HP on the second one, because the second one is going to be fighting a much weaker mammoth. So that is a behavioral thing that I have adjusted from my previous games of Humankind. So if you have watched those, then I would say just like know that I am learning the game too. I am learning the game too, and I am growing as a player. And every time that I do, I love this game just a little bit more, because it really is great. Finally, we get a fight. Oh my god. So I guess this is another time for us to like pause and talk about another like deep cut of 4X game design, but this is a deep cut of 4X game design that I think that Humankind does really well, and that a lot of other 4Xs do not. Their HUD is perfection here. So for people who do not know what a HUD is, that's your heads up display. It shows you all of the things that the game designers think matter, that you, the player, need to be aware of and paying attention to. Unfortunately, like a vast majority of 4Xs in my experience are just like 100% widgets up here, like entirely ignorable nonsense that means nothing to you, the player, except like dopamine abuse. But like, if it just as like a very basic thing, I think if Age of Wonders 4, if their heads up display had your ruler's level, and like a giant, you know, circle portrait of your dude up there, and like your EXP bar coming out, and levels and stuff, then it would draw your attention to like what's actually important in Age of Wonders 4, and would encourage people to play the game correctly, and to like actually, you know, interact with the tools in there in a valuable way. Whereas the heads up display in like basically every single Amplitude Studio game is really just unbelievably sick, like unbelievably sick, because it only focuses on the things that matter really, and means that like on a basic level, to me, that's the 4X game designers at Amplitude Studios saying we understand our game and we want you to understand it too. And that's a really awesome vibe, honestly. Like I much mad respect to them for that. We're gonna put down an outpost. Like I said, this is a video more about like me vibing and talking about game design than like perfect play, but we're gonna try to play relatively efficiently if we can. Yeah, like there's so many. This is I guess we'll just like talk about everything here, but like my biggest issue with Endless Space 2 is that their widget spinning, their micro there of like pushing pops from like one solar system to the next is 100% necessary to play well. If you do not shuffle pops around in Endless Space 2, I promise you are not playing the game on a high level. But it is annoying, and I hate doing it. Whereas like the micro in Humankind is just so much better, like so much better, because you don't have to do any of that stupid stuff. Like the way that you have control over your cities, which I don't know, maybe we should stop talking about game design and like show you guys why I love this game and the tensions that emerge from it. Whatever. We'll just make another city here. Yeah, that's another city because it's far away. As an aside, because we will also kind of be teaching people in addition to just vibing. If you're playing Humankind and you have the ability to set up 2 outposts in the Neolithic era that are not adjacent, this is a very powerful play pattern because generally in the ancient era, and forward, your cost on influence for setting up an outpost scales up as you are like further and further away from your existing land. But because we are a nomadic tribe, we are allowed to just kind of like chuck stuff wherever we want to. So you set up like 2 outposts during the Neolithic era, aiming to set both of those up into cities in the ancient. We have only 21 influence though because of how bad our hunting was. So I guess I'm gonna probably wait one more turn here. Yeah, I'm gonna probably wait one more turn here to flip, and then we'll flip, and then we'll talk about like why I think the lack of game balance is perfection, is exactly what we should be looking for. It does not go up. It's the same in. Oh, okay, great, excellent to know, Bruno. Yeah, if I say something that is wrong, you have 10,000 times more experience in this game. Please, please, please call me out on it because I do not want to mislead people and I want to learn. It is really sweet. So it makes it goes. You have now a city. The first city. Well, the first. No. I'm not talking about the cost of like the flipping into cities. Did they not change? Because like in the older patches, 100% your cost on outpost placement on vanilla, if it was like far, far, far away from your territory, it did go up. Did they change that on the new patch? Or is that something that switches in classical? Because it's absolutely there. Cause I mean, we can see it. We'll see if we can demonstrate that in game. But I think that it's there. Oh, it's when you build your first city. That's the trigger. Okay, yeah, all right. Well, I mean that's effectively the same thing, but that is very valuable knowledge, and thank you anyway, because it is, it means that you can flip into ancient and actually be able to leverage a steed actually even better, because you can probably pop off with some serious ridiculous, like burn a sanctuary for gold. But that is okay. Good. I'm gonna need to integrate that learning for our next video on Humankind, because there's gonna be one. I want to do something like this, but like in a form where it's more consumable by normal people instead of somebody who wants to like sit here and watch Walker vibe for 5 hours. Something that somebody who's not sure if they're gonna love Humankind watches and says, "Oh man, I'm gonna love Humankind." All right, that stupid Mammoth ran away from us. God, Mammoth, why are you like this? Come back here. You think that you can just get away because you think that your own mortality matters, but I got some bad news, Mammoth. I think this unit's gonna die, probably. Yep, probably gonna die. But we'll do persistence hunting. That's kind of like what we're doing here. We're doing persistence hunting on this Mammoth. We're having like individual units just hurl themselves at the Mammoth, so that everybody else can get in on it. This is where in Civ 6, how are you dying? You're above. It's wounded. It's in a river. The combat in this game is sometimes just like a black box of insanity. It works the way that it works in Age of Wonders 4, where like it'll roll your dudes into fights and actually fight them. No. Kids in, I'm not doing manual combat. Because I promise that like you don't need to. Once Amplitude fixes the map gen, you really do not need to do like any manual combat in this unless you want to, because like you really can do persistence hunting, and I have used that as a great value thing in like single player things. And I really do think that like once people get persistence hunting as a strategy, then like you can ban manual combats against the map in multiplayer and have a much healthier play experience. Because I think if you're doing a bunch of manual combats against mammoths in multiplayer, you're just like, I don't think you're gonna have fun. I've done it. You can watch some of my other streams where I've done it, and it results in your snowballing exploding so hard that it really kind of makes the rest of the game like it makes the entire rest of the game just widget spinning. Yeah, like Manual is very quick if you know. No, I know, Kidson. Like, you can watch the Humankind like Oceania DLC stream. It's there. This is not a question of like I don't like to abuse the AI. This is just a question of like I think that it creates much smoother snowballing patterns, and also creates just like a better gameplay for me. If you at home want to do a bunch of manuals to have like 30 pops here instead of 14, you can. But I think that hurts my game it from like a perspective of not being able to enjoy it as much, because the snowballing effect in this game really is a little much. In truth, it's a lot of extra value you get if you can just do too many mammoth fights. So not to rehash it, but I think that mammoth sanctuaries like straight up should not exist, and that mammoths should be something that if you're going to keep them in the game and you're going to keep the value that they give you of plus 20 food and plus 20 influence, then have the mammoths be something that the player has to inherently manage. Like make it so that their population is something that if you allow them to like scale up on their own and add more mammoths, there's something that you can actually leverage into the ancient era to like hunt there. But like the way that these things operate right now is really too much in my book in terms of generated value. So here we are, we're turn 9, we're standing on a couple of sanctuaries, and so we're going to go ahead and do a culture flip, and we're going to use that as an opportunity to talk about why I actually love culture flipping in Humankind. So in Humankind, just as every other 4X, everything is just like about tension and snowballing and trying to get as powerful as possible as quickly as possible. But because of the nature of the fame system, you can have like hilariously bad results if you are not paying attention. There's another Humankind stream where like, I know Bruno was here at least, because like I was talking about building train stations and like very obviously was not paying any attention to what I was doing for like 3 hours because I was just like vibing and talking to people. And we were like way more powerful than all of the other AI, but our fame was like 4th and it was just like, oh no, now we have to panic kill everybody on the world. And that's kind of like, as a basic level, the way that I love interacting with the culture system. So if you're not paying attention, then like if you think that you can just dump fame and win the game, then that will like compromise your ability to snowball effectively, and therefore make you as a widget spinner and a widget god to make you very powerful in Humankind. But because fame is also the victory condition most of the time, like there is the you can't just snowball. You have to also balance what you were trying to do in game mechanically towards what you were trying to achieve in the game mechanically. And that blows my mind on like a fundamental level of game design. Like that, this system is so cool and so wildly misunderstood because people just like ignore the snowballing scaling aspect and just try to win. But I think if you know how to play the game and you know how like snowballing works in a general 4X and you know how like you're supposed to win, it's really dope. So here, this is a critique. This is a critique section for Amplitude. I don't know if these numbers have moved around a lot, but they probably haven't. And food is like wildly overpowered in any 3.5x at the beginning of the game, including this one. So I think that what the game should start doing, rather than just like having the AI just like grab random cultures, I think what the AI should start doing is start grabbing preferential cultures that express to the player the value of those cultures themselves. So that way the player cannot do what we are doing here, where we're just kind of like vibing in the Neolithic period forever and just grabbing stuff, because there's no tension for us to want to leave the Neolithic era, right? And that's a product of the way that mechanics on Mammoths work, but it's also a product of the way that the mechanics on the AI's behaviors towards these cultures work. And the reason that I'm critiquing it here is that I actually really like the fact that the cultures are not all the same. I think you should feel like in the Neolithic era, you cannot vibe indefinitely. You have to want to get to the ancient era, not only as a product of the way food collection works in Humankind, but also as a product of the way the cultures work in Humankind. So like, if you don't like the fact that all of the cultures do different things and you have to switch around between them, and like some of them are a lot better than others, then that's okay. Like, I'm not here to call anybody out, but for me, that is the most beautiful aspect of Humankind and something that vibes with me on a really fundamental level. So we're going to take Harappans. I'm not happy about taking Harappans because it's turn 9 and the AI should have known better to take this, but the AI in this game takes cultures on turn 3 and confuses new people. They need to fix that. That makes no sense. Because they put a great culture, a great catch-up tool here in the game, in terms of the turn 5 action where you get like plus 20 food or plus 20 influence. The AI should never be flipping before turn 5 on fast. That demonstrates bad play patterns to new people and makes them hurt themselves. And I think that a good game should not encourage the players to hurt themselves. So that is going to be the beginning of, I guess, what we're talking about here, which is just like the way that Humankind vibes with me, because you need to balance everything. It really is very complicated. So yeah, side note, yeah. In multiplayer, what do you guys have a lot of experience in multiplayer? Because a lot of my experience is just like translating the fundamentals of 4X game design to playing with people who mostly are not there yet. And so I know that if it would be like the same sort of thing whenever I started playing Age of Wonders 4, I know that if I started playing this with people who are legitimately good, that I would get absolutely steamrolled. And I'm really looking forward to that, honestly. I think that would be a lot of fun to like get better at multiplayer so that we can help the game have competitive balance, where people feel like they have to take the good thing, but also being balanced competitively, where like people can have a good game with their friends without feeling like the person who gets Harappans just wins. And so like that's kind of like where I hope that Amplitude Studios goes now that they have broken free from Sega. I don't know what they're up to. I don't know what they're vibing with, but like I think that this game is incredible, and that if they just made it like a little more normal, I think people could really jam. Man, did you just disband a population into an outpost instead of your city because you just like 1,000% in vibe space? Because that really is that's what the footage shows. All right, so instead of just like 100% vibe space, I'm gonna try to show you guys like what's going on. It wasn't in the top 3 cultures for multiplayer. Was it just pure aesthetes? Like that, I would believe that too. But if you're gonna like truth bomb me and tell me that it like the top 3 cultures for multiplayer were like Babylonians, I'm not gonna believe you. I'm gonna need you to show me some numbers if that's true. Like I could definitely believe aesthetes or the Hamlet likes or the garrisons because of the way that they influence your ability to spawn. It was Babylonians? Are you kidding me? If it is, then I need to play with you guys, or at the very least, like watch you play with you guys, because that challenges the basic heuristics of the way that I like to approach this game in a way that like confounds me. Oh yeah, Olmec Pamajo. All right, that makes way more sense. All right, sweet. Yeah, like it did nerf the aesthetes, but like I think that the aesthetes being powerful is good. I think the aesthetes should be powerful. I think that the things that are good in the game that help you understand how to play the game, and help you understand the basic tension that you should not vibe in the Neolithic period forever, but rather should want to take the things that are good, is sweet. All right, good. Yeah, it's good for aesthetes. That makes a lot of sense. Like it's good for Babylonians. I would not be ashamed, but I would be horrifyingly confused, because those do not seem like they're a particularly powerful culture to me right now in a way that is awesome. Like I think that's great, because the other big issue with like generalized 4X game design is that like if you're not careful with your science system and you include any science system at all in a 4X, because remember, like, Heroes of Might and Magic is a 4X. It is a violent chainsaw massacre 4X, but it is 100% a 4X. Oh, I should probably put should do you first, so that way, we're gonna get that done, because we're gonna get another city next turn, and then we're gonna start pulling pops back, I guess. Yeah, we'll start pulling pops back. But, like, I think, like, all of the aesthete cultures just being, like, generically very strong is hilariously good for game balance once the AI starts playing. Once the AI starts playing, then I think that it'll be awesome for them. All right, we need to find calendar. We found calendar. This is, I guess, another like core 4X thing that Walker just likes to apply to everything, because as a basic precept, you should be aiming to snowball. You should be aiming to get as powerful as you can, as quickly as you can in every 4X. In any, oh god damn it, I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on carpet. This is the one you're supposed to click on, everybody. I really am not paying attention. I'm just vibing with the game on a fundamental level, but this is the one you're supposed to click on and not the other one. Carpentry gives you access to clearing forests. So as a very basic precept, in any 4X you want to scale and like snowball as quickly as you can. And this is something where like you'll just get a vibe for it as you play the games as much as I do. And things like buy rushing and clearing forests are just like they are the tools of 4X. If you are not clearing forests and buying things out in 4Xs, then I promise that you're not playing efficiently, and that's not meant to call anybody out. That means that you don't understand the tempo in a 4X yet. In every single 4X, your goal is now. You want to do things faster. People ask for like basic heuristics on like what your build should be aiming to achieve, but I think in any sufficiently well-designed 4X, then like you cannot do that, because there are going to be random outcomes from exploring the map, and that's just kind of like where a good 4X is, and that's kind of where this is, and that's a great example of a great game. We do not have enough population in this city, but we have enough next turn. So of the 15,000 hours that I have played of 4Xs, honestly, I've probably played around 3,000 hours of Civilization 4. If you guys love Civilization 4, then maybe I'll do a stream of that at some point in the future. But if you really love Civilization 4, I wanna tell you that like there is a content creator named LC Sola who is the best Civ like content creator I've ever seen, and I've been following him for like, I don't know, probably 20 years since he was in the Civ 4 multiplayer community, and that dude is just he's very vibes based, very relaxed and not too crazy. So if this is the sort of thing that you're looking for, then I think you'll really enjoy his content. But he's also just like an amazing player. He fought like a 1v4 with Speaker, and there's an amazing AAR about it. Okay, trading posts. Bruno, you're gonna have to help me out here, buddy. This is something where we can like add an outpost and flip it over into it becoming a free city, but I do not remember how to do that because it's been so long since I've played Humankind. Do I add the outpost now, or do I wait until it becomes I wait until it becomes a little buddy here, right? Until it becomes like a peace sign or a war sign, and that's when you can add the outpost and drop it. That's what I remember. All right, so let's talk very quickly about what we're about to do here with Harapans. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to buy out this canal network. This is something where we're going to get access to worker slots. So this is something where like the game itself is really complicated, but if you tune out all the nonsense and focus on the things that matter, and you understand where these numbers are coming from, I think you can really jam it. And here, because of the way that the game works in Humankind, because of carpentry, which we didn't really talk about, but we will show off, you kind of really don't need pops in your cities making things. You kind of just need pops on your map making things by like cutting stuff down. That's usually true in a 4X, honestly. It really is usually true in a 4X. So we're gonna do expert policy actually, and I'm gonna show you guys how to make your lives a lot easier. Just do this. Like, this is gonna make your lives so much better in Humankind 99% of the time, at the beginning of the game at least, because like your industry doesn't really matter. You're getting your industry from cutting down stuff, and so you do not need to be maxing this out except for like very specific things. You want to be maxing this stuff out because this is the thing that's going to max you out in this 4X because of the way that science scaling works here. So I guess we'll just kind of like vibe and wander around. I really do think that once the pacing, that the tension that should exist in terms of the fame, once that tension exists in the AI behaviors, I really hope everyone will love this game as much as I do. I get that people want the game to be like accessible and easy to new players, but I think if you make a good tutorial for this game, then new players can play on this level very easily right now, in a way that they will feel awesome about doing, right? Just imagine how great you'll feel if you can like really, really understand the game and play it on a high level because the tutorial teaches you to do so. And you can do so pretty easily. Alright, well, let's just pull back some guys to chop. Get over there, go cut down some things. That's always good for you. Always, always good for you. Just don't worry about how much it hurts your late game. It really is unimportant. I don't know, maybe we'll just like scout around and like see what the map looks like. Oh, you know, we're talking about fundamental game design and like tensions that exist within the game, and they've gone ahead and like redone some stuff in ways that I think are like extremely difficult for me to evaluate on the front of it because of the mechanical things that come out of this. So because of the competitive nature of like real resources in Humankind, where real resources are going to come from making progress and snowballing, and then also having an issue where like the faith is also tied to like population. Just rushing faith isn't as good as it probably should be, because you just don't have enough pops to like compete somebody who's like a big population thing with a little bit of faith. But I think if they balanced it around where like faith could exist on its own a little better, I think that would also like create more competitive tensions for people, because you really should be fighting over these things. And I mean, these numbers are still kind of like nonsense, but like you should want to take these things in ways that influence your own behavior versus the AI versus the other players, and having them where like one is definitely better than the other encourages the player to want to pay attention to stuff like faith, and that is good. That's great game design. Encourage your players to pay attention to the things that are good and important. And yeah, faith is currently too snowbally. Yeah, a lot of the things that I think that they have in the game, because they don't like explain to people the power of snowballing in the tutorial, I'm just gonna like pretend like I've interviewed an Amplitude studio person who worked on this, but like I kind of don't feel like I need to, because I can see the expressed intention of the developers within the game itself, and I think that the expressed intention of the developers within the game itself is to have a snowballing imbalance in the game, balanced against your victory condition on just like a basic level, and that is just the entire game to me. But they can tone it down. They absolutely can tone it down. Once people know how to play the game, then they do not need to have these numbers be so unbelievably ridiculously different and have people have fun. Walker, you're just not paying attention. You should have made this into a city a while ago. Again, this is not really a I'm going to teach you how to play Humankind stream. This is, I'm going to vibe and talk about how much I love this game stream, and I'm going to come back and do like an actually educational video rather than just Walker having fun and just vibing. But don't watch this for perfect play. It is so far from perfect play that you will not, that if you know perfect play, you've probably already unsubscribed. Oh dear, Walker. So yeah, we're gonna cut some trees down. Like, it's bad for the environment, but that's a problem for later on in life. Right? That, I don't know. Have they rebalanced like pollution, Bruno, in a way where you feel like things matter? Because I haven't really felt like things matter in regards to pollution in Humankind historically, but that's mostly because of the values being kind of like in Age of Wonders 4 attunement nonsense, where like they just didn't really make sense mathematically to me, and did not produce the sort of tensions that the rest of the game does. But I really haven't looked at the new patch. The part of what we're doing here is that like this is an entirely new patch for me, and I know that they made a lot of balance changes. No change. Yeah, listen, we're gonna keep working on Humankind, and we're gonna do our absolute best to make sure that we, as whatever small community that exists here, like just work with Amplitude Studios to try to make this thing perfection. Because it really can get a lot better with a couple of tweaks. And so any of the information that you guys have from all of your data, please share with me. Share with the community, share with everybody. That's why we're doing these things, because I love this game and I want to see it thrive. All right, so we're just at this point in the scouting phase. Honest to God, Sino, no. I don't think I've ever played, in those 15 hours, or 15,000 hours, I don't think I've ever played a 4X that had a pollution system that mattered. And it's because, like, if you're going to put a pollution system that matters in the game, I think that it basically needs to be an apocalypse. I think if you're going to put in a pollution system into your game, it needs to be like that Civ 2 save file where, like, there were 3 empires locked in eternal nuclear war just obliterating the map. I think if you're going to do that, like, yeah, exactly. Well, like in Mu 2, I don't even know if pollution matters that much in Mu 2. Like, it's a production problem that you need to solve, really, and that pollution is simply like an expression of a production problem. If you guys are vibing with this sort of absolute ridiculous nonsense Kids In, I very easily could be convinced to do a Master of Orion 2 stream at some point. Like, I do still play that game from time to time. I need to know how it interacts with OBS before committing to it, because it runs in DOSBox, but if you guys like talking about 4X game design, then I guess we could probably play Master of Orion 2 if we want. What's going on over here, Robin? No construction in progress. Oh my God! Look at this UI. Look at this UI. It's immediately drawing the person to the thing that matters. Wow, just perfection. Like, I can't believe that other people haven't started to pick up on what is important and what is unimportant in turning the humans' own behaviors into something that's useful to them. And that's the way this game vibes. Walker, why did you research city defense instead of irrigation? Honest to God. Really? Honest to God, what are you doing? You're not paying any attention at all, are you? Nah, not really. I love this game so much. I love this game so much.
Rapid and dangerous.
No Diablo 2 stream. If there's gonna be a Diablo 2 stream, it's gonna be a multiplayer group where everybody has to like play together, and what we do is we only use items that we find while we clear everything out, and we all work together and trade our items around and like try very desperately to not die. Maybe we do it hardcore, maybe we don't, I don't know, but like I'm not gonna do a single player Diablo 2 stream ever. That is, I would consider that trash content. I would 100% do a Dungeons and Dragons 5 people to do it. Queue research? Absolutely not. I hate queuing in every 4X ever. I know that they're there for like normal people who actually do like want to value their time, but I want to impress upon people from the kind of content that I make and the way that I approach the universe. I really do not value my time, and therefore value my efficiencies more. So like that's what we're gonna look for, honestly. I'm just gonna look for efficiencies that we can utilize and leverage, even if it means that people have to like watch me queue quarters that get built in one turn over and over and over again. Oh, wait a second. I want to take another fundamental game design break here. One of the things that I also love about Humankind is the way Starvation works in Humankind. In so many games. Yeah, the way that technology like should be working, I think, if I'm paying attention, is that I want to take carpentry first. I want to take irrigation basically as quickly as possible after that, and then leverage the carpentry to like crank out a bunch of flood irrigation. If you have a bunch of influence on your build, then I think you absolutely can leverage fishing, and then just like building harbors and doing good stuff there. And then I think you really do want to be using city defense for timing attacks. Like if you haven't done where you build like 8 warriors as you like right before you pick up what was it, standing army, You can build like 14, 16, 20 warriors if you want, but like you do burn off population at a certain point doing that. But you just build a buttload of warriors and then like get a bunch of gold, and then you just flip them all into swordsmen. And that is what I was intending to demonstrate in terms of timing attack. But like, I don't know, we're kind of just like jamming at this point. I don't know if we're gonna get to a timing attack or not, but we did show it off in the Oceania stream. If that's what you're like, if tighter play is what you guys are looking for, go watch that stream instead of this one. This is just gonna be Walker vibing and talking about nonsense. But where were we? Where were we in the talking about nonsense phase? Where, guys? You distracted me. What were we talking about? Well, oh, starvation. That's what we were talking about. Yeah, we were talking about starvation. So starvation is one of these things that in a 3.5x, because scaling is based in your cities, which is based in the infrastructure that you build, which is also going to be influenced by the population that you have within those cities. Starvation and the mechanics behind it are incredibly impactful on the behaviors that a human player can actually do. So in Civilization 4, for instance, I wouldn't say fault. You contributed to me getting derailed because you said something interesting, but don't consider that. It's all of it is not Newtonian fluid. This entire stream is just going to be like you mixed a bunch of cornstarch and water and then just like put it on a table as a block and then just kind of like watched it melt away in front of you. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. But stop distracting me, Bruno. We're talking about starvation and the way that it is not hostile to new players in a way that is fun and enjoying. So did they change the starvation? Because I think that the starvation in Humankind was perfection. Because the way that it works so just basically in Civ 4, whenever you starve, your food bank goes all the way down to the bottom. That is really, really brutal for a newer player and extremely hostile if you do not know what you're doing, because it causes you to like go up and then go down and then go up and then go down, and it's nonsense. But like here in Humankind, it's way, way smoother. If you starve in Humankind, unless they changed this in the new patch, if you starve in Humankind, you go down to like here on the population tree instead of here on the population tree. And so that means that if you make a couple of little mistakes or whatever, that it's not the end of the goddamn world. I don't know why other people don't know that. Like, Humankind is one of the only games that understands this. Don't be mean to your players for no reason. And like, and the way that the starvation thing there, I'm sure is also probably helpful and or abusive in the multiplayer community, but like, I don't see that as a big issue. Oh, that's Bruno. That's not what I'm talking about though. I'm talking about like the core mechanic of how starvation is scored. In a ridiculous number of 4x's, starvation is scored by putting you at the very beginning of the growth population track for like growing the next pop, which is incredibly hostile to new players. Whereas the way that it operates in Humankind, because it puts you at the top of the population bar, if you make small mistakes in Humankind, the game does not trample you for it, I promise. If you just like assume that the game is not going to hurt you and that the tools that are in the game are there to help you play the game and have fun, then the game actually operates really well. And that's just I don't know, that's silly. That makes me happy. I love this game. What are we doing? What are the other fundamentals of game design that you guys want to talk about? Because I don't have anything scripted, unsurprisingly. I really don't even have any notes. Sometimes I do like roto scripting, where like I'll write some things down on a piece of paper and be like, here are the most important things that you need to talk about, and then just kind of like vibe with it. But wait, are you telling me that now it doesn't? That when you starve, you don't start at the top anymore? Because that's what I'm talking about. I don't care about the up and down, up and down, up and down, really. I care about where the population bar is whenever you starve, and I think that population bars should start here whenever a player starves, like going from 7 down to 6, because this is insanely more fair for new players, because you only have to accumulate, like 3% growth or whatever in order to get your population back. Whereas if you start at the top, yeah, that wasn't changed. That's the thing that I care about in regards to the starvation system in Humankind. That's what I care about. The other widget stuff, I don't care about. It doesn't bother me that the population goes up and down. I have tuned that nonsense out. I care about whether or not the game's fundamental laws of mechanics are hostile to new players or not. Whether or not they encourage people to do things that are bad for them or not. And most of the things that the game encourages you to do in this game are actually like good for you. Wow, Walker, I'm just gonna have to wait for irrigation because I want to build it now, but I can't. Good lord. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just like build a garrison or whatever. This is 100% just like Walker vibing nonsense now. We will come back and do like Walker actually trying to teach people how to play this game at some point and like focusing on the game itself rather than the elemental aspects of the game within itself. Wait a second. Walker. You just got technology walking around the board. Like get it up there. Get it up there. Get this out of here. Does anybody know how like Overflow works on a lot of different things in this? I think I have a lot of theories as to how Overflow works in Humankind, but Overflow is another one of these things that, depending on the way that it operates in regards to production and science, Overflow is another one of those like potential widget spinner things that can be like ridiculously hostile to new players if they've never interacted with the 4X before. And I'm based off of my memory and everything. I think that industry and science overflows in a way that is exclusively like net good and net positive for people who want to vibe and have fun with the game. It goes for next item. What happens if you delete it? Like that's really the truth. That's the truly important thing for me is if you queue an item on that turn when you have overflow, for a new player, if you then delete that item because you realize that like you just kind of didn't need it accidentally and you built it, then I really think that overflow should be able to like move from one building to the next in a way where it's just the overflow that moves, but the buildings themselves you can move around on the same turn if you want. Because that just allows people to make mistakes, and I think that's where the game should be. I think the game should be where it is, like, really accessible to new players. It's lost. I think they can change that, because you can score overflow as, like, an individual stack, right? You can score that not as production on the building, but as overflow within the city. And you don't need to show any of the people that, by the way. Like, some of the things that we're going to talk about in this stream are going to be wonky and ridiculous, and, like, useful to the player, but also things that I don't think anybody needs to see unless you like peer into the dark oblivion of the 4X genre. But like overflow stacking in every single 4X would be a way less hostile to new people if it was scored as an individual object and then only assigned at the end of the turn. So that way if the player makes a mistake and wants to like move stuff around, then they can have fun and like experiment and realize that having a fixed build goal that does not respond to whether or not you pick up influence or science or whatever is usually not good. Like, you want to have a plan, but if you have a specific inflexible plan, yeah, just don't misclick. But like, I gotta say, kids, and I'm not asking for this for me, because I try to play kind of tightly whenever I play our multiplayer games on that secret Discord, but like, I feel like largely a good game is designed with the expectation that the people playing it are going to misclick from time to time and not hurt them for that. And that's where like scoring overflow is like a separate stack is something that on a game design standpoint matters to me. And honest to God, I don't think I've ever seen a 4X do it. If they have, then I don't know. Like, well, no. It's not about caring about overflow, really. Because it's not about whether or not you're min-maxing it, right? Overflow, I guess, you know, Walker. Let's really derail things and just like talk about game design really for 4 hours. Overflow is one of those things that I sort of like the EXP system in Age of Wonders 4, where like I don't expect anybody to really understand the EXP system if they don't want to. If you want to just play Age of Wonders 4 and have fun, then like just do so. The way that rounding works in Age of Wonders 4 is that you get round up on EXP, which encourages casual players to just be allowed to bring more units to every single fight, and therefore feel like they're still scaling their economy in ways that are useful. It would be really hostile if it were round down, because that would mean that like all of the sweaty people who do math, who do overflow stacking and stuff, would feel really powerful, and the people who do not would feel really weak. And just because of the way that like overflow impacts growth in every single 4X in incredibly powerful ways. Yeah, exactly. Like, if you cancel and don't care that you're casual, you won't care that you make that mistake, because you won't know that you made that mistake. But the game will know that you made that mistake, and the game will punish you for it in ways that you as a casual player at home don't understand. And as you as a casual player at home don't need to get punished for, because the game really doesn't need to punish people for that sort of stuff. It can be both something that like advanced players don't need to worry about because they understand overflow super duper duper well, but also that like new players can make accidents and not completely ruin their build and the way that they play. Bruno, yeah, but like I'm telling you, man, like it cannot be hard in terms of code to put like overflow as a separate score. And I think that as a very basic precept for game design here in Humankind, that we should be giving people tools that allow new players to interact with all of the buttons in ways that don't hurt them. Like 4Xs have and I guess because we're talking about things that hurt players, one of the biggest things that I actually have against Humankind, beyond like AI behaviors creating bad play patterns for people to follow, I think that, I mean, okay, yes, I do want to say that I do not want to overstate how easy that is to put in the game, but given that overflow is something that is tracked in the game, I'm not asking Amplitude to come up with an entirely different way to do overflow. I just think that if it was something that could float from one to next to the next, then all of the like handful of people who are here wouldn't have a worse game because they know it. But like the vast majority of people, unless the tutorial very specifically teaches them how to do overflow, which I don't know if you need to include that. I think you need to include a tutorial that tells people about tensions in the game and the way that like they should want to snowball, but also should want to have some fame. And so like they need to be paying close attention to balancing those things. I think that you do not need to have people who actually understand overflow in order for people to benefit from a positive scoring system for overflow that allows new players to make mistakes without having to know ways to get out of it. Like it's just it really is a fine-tuning thing for me, and because this is a problem in every single 4X and not specifically Humankind, I don't want anybody to think that is a specific critique of Humankind itself. That is 100% a critique of the genre. The amount of like ridiculously horrifying things that are mean to new players unless you know a way to get out of it. It's a fundamental aspect of a genre that I love, and I really wish that people would stop doing it because they don't need to. People can have a lot of fun in 4Xs and not feel like they need a galaxy brain all the time. Like that is what I really truly love about Age of Wonders 4, is that you can be a colossal goddamn idiot as long as you know how to auto resolve and sack stack. Then like your IQ should probably be 4 when playing that game. You'll play way better than if you think your IQ is 400. And that makes me happy fundamentally. I don't know about all these little dingly bops, but like I gotta tell you, because Faith, I'm assuming Faith still works the same way, right? Where like you have to have pops associated with it in order to get it. Unless they change that, then I'm gonna guess that we probably want to pick up Divine Mandate still. But whenever you're doing an assessment in any game, I can't really give you fixed heuristics because that's not how a good game works. A good game has to have like flexible heuristics where you respond to things. So like you probably always want to be taking +1 city cap probably. I don't know if Autark is going to be like incredibly broken on certain certain builds though, because that is a lot of widgets, and so like, you know, this is the true crucible that tests your soul, is understanding that. I think they fixed it. I think this part of what they've done here, Civics. Do you guys have any critiques that you've seen so far of the patch? Because like, I've been looking around at some of these guys, and I gotta tell you that as somebody who has too many hours in this game, there are some picks that I think are still probably correct. Like, you probably want to start on conscripts, and then you probably want to flip to professional soldiers. But like, yeah, like plus 20%. Because like, if you just put as a game design thing, if you just put a bunch of widgets in your game and you assume that you know what they mean, then like, they're not going to get any value for the player out of them, because most of the numbers and most of the 4x's do not mean anything until you make them high enough. But when I saw this, I had the same reaction that like I imagine a lot of people did, which was, yeah, Fins is life. Because if you can do a lot of research and actually play a game well, rather than like just vibe into outer space the way that we are now, once you're at the point where you're picking Civics, you realize that like, yes, you want to chop like crazy in basically every single 4x, but because there is the tension of, in order to chop, you have to like acquire territory, and in order to acquire territory, you have to have influence in order to do that. And the influence, of course, you're also going to be wanting to balance against your civics, and you're also going to be balancing it against not just adding extra outposts and attaching them, but also adding extra cities, and you can get extra cities from conquering things. So like, basically what I'm trying to tell you is that you cannot actually do math to say, is this one thing better than another? It is entirely dependent upon like probabilistic outcomes. And when things are entirely dependent upon probabilistic outcomes, for me, in terms of 4X game design, I know some people hate that, but for me, that's my fetish. Probabilistic outcomes in 4Xs are my fetish. That's a sentence. All right. Actually, you know what? We've been streaming for just a little bit. I need to take a quick break, and then we can continue with this silly nonsense. Please do not use this video to teach yourself how to play the game. Please use this video to teach yourself how to love Humankind the way that I do. And I promise that I will make a video to help people play in the mid-future. I do want to get more AOW stuff out, but like, I really cannot help myself but want to make some Humankind content right now, because this game is rad. But I'll be back in maybe like 5-10 minutes. Oh, so kids, if you guys actually are like interested in more multiplayer, there is like a small Discord that I joined with a lot of people who are like pretty new to the community, but like they're learning very quickly, and I'm very impressed with the way that they're playing so far. So like I really do want to make a here is how to play the game kind of style video, but I kind of sort of already did that with the Oceania DLC stream. So like, I don't know, that one will happen. But like, I feel like I played relatively well in that game, and it showed people like fundamentals of how to play. So like, I don't know. It's the way it is. What are we doing? What are we doing, Walker? We're drinking some coffee, and we're looking at this board, and we're looking at all of the things that I've been ignoring while I've been just vibing in outer space. All right, let's fix this up a little bit. We have some influence. I guess let's check our stability in our capital, I guess. Usually you can spend some. Yeah, you can usually spend some. I like that as another like aspect of the way that the game plays in most Amplitude games, is that like they're very forgiving on a lot of different numbers, and so you can do a lot in order to like ignore nonsense and just focus on fundamentals. And that is again just like great game design in my book. You just want to make things as like accessible as humanly possible for new people, and as interesting as humanly possible for people who are not. Oh, you know what? Wait a second. I can fix that. I have the power. I can fix this. I can invite people. Wait a second. There it is. Discord link copied. Walker, do you know how to mouse around on your own computer? Like, you do it all the time. Like, you do realize that you can control where things are going. You can pay attention to stuff. All right, there it is. Where are we? Yeah, we're spending some influence on stuff, but as a core part of every single Amplitude game, they have this thing called influence. Pretty much every Amplitude game I've ever played, and this is a really beautiful tool for Amplitude Studios, just because of the way that they are extremely creative with the application of it. They always make it so that this is something that is very, very important in every single one of their games, but they also make it so that it's important and flexible. And that is something where, has anybody in the chat like actually played the tutorial? Is there a tutorial? That might be the problem. I don't know. Like, I have to assume that if there is a tutorial that it misleads new people, because I don't think I've ever played a 4X where the tutorial did not intentionally or unintentionally mislead new people into doing things that were just like hilariously bad play patterns, because they didn't want to like overwhelm the player. But this game is so full of positive vibes that I know that they could do it. I know they could do it. I don't think that they at Amplitude should have fear of their own inabilities, because like they know what they're doing. Those guys very obviously know what they're doing, because you can just kind of like you can tell, you can very easily tell when someone understands the fundamentals of 4X game design in a way that is both respectful to new players and interesting to old ones. And brother, let me tell you something. These guys get it. These guys get it. So we're gonna try to pull back Walker's just incorrigibly horrible play patterns of doing nonsense at the beginning of the game by just vibing into outer space. We'll get this game as far as we can in terms of showing off different tools that exist in 4Xs. Like, I'm really hoping that we play this game long enough that we get to do a swords master, oh my god, you're right there, that we can just kill this guy with swords timing attack, because I think we can, and I think that'll be useful to people who are coming from Age of Wonders 4 and like want to know how to do that with mislings. It's the same thing in every 4X. Just get good stuff, focus on the good stuff rather than just the most stuff. You get a bunch of like random nonsense stuff in any 4X and try to win with it. You can sometimes, but like, I like to do auto battles against the AI. I think it's fun. I know that nobody else does, but listen, Walker has his own things that he is doing, and I promise that I'm not here to hurt anybody or call anybody out and say like, you cannot do manual battles. I just love it. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like, that community is so good. I'm really looking forward to getting eviscerated by one of the good multiplayer people in there, and I probably am going to stream it, honestly. So if you guys want to watch me just get like absolutely face planted by like an actual pro, we're gonna do that on stream at some point in the future, I promise. Because I learn the best that way. I really do, and like, If it's something where I lose and do not feel like I gained value from it, then I typically find that is a problem of Walker and just like him being a bad brain space and not anything else. Because you really can learn like an absurd amount of stuff by getting torn apart by a mentor who actually like knows what they're doing and is willing to help you learn from it. And that's kind of like how the Evolved community operated for me initially. Like, Endag came over to one of our games with Winslaya and Age of Wonders 4 and just like obliterated all of us because we were just doing silly nonsense things the way that, you know, like normal people attempt to play Age of Wonders 4. Just we were trying to build infrastructure that didn't do anything all the time, and then he figured that out and was like, oh yeah, you guys need to understand this game a little bit better. I'm gonna teach you real quick, and this is what you do. You play with barbarians and you massacre things. And he did. He played with barbarians and he massacred us, and it was an incredible learning experience for me. So I really am looking forward to getting torn apart by Komodo. And I have specifically told him to not hold back. I want to know everything. I want to see what is in his brain. I want to see what is in the soul of this game, because I know he knows it. And you can just like kind of tell. You really can kind of tell that he knows what's going on over there, and I'm so excited. I don't know what I'm supposed to be building here because I'm not doing anything correctly. I'm not doing anything correctly, and I don't have any of the tools that I'm used to seeing in front of me whenever we're at this point in the game, because I've just like absolutely been doing absurd nonsense all game. Let's fix this up just a little bit, Walker. Let's make this at least functional for a pedagogical tool. We're gonna want organized warfare at some point, but one of the reasons why I kind of feel like I at least don't ever usually feel like I'm super pressured at fame if there's a really vast skill difference between things is that there's so many ways to score fame. We talk about this in one of the other Humankind like guide things, but people think that all the fame is right here, but there's like a bunch of fame right here, and there's also just like a whole bunch of fame like right here, and there's a whole bunch of fame like right here, and like it's so good. It's so good that it has all these different tools and all these things that operate so beautifully that you really cannot boil it down into one discrete sentence of how you're supposed to play this game other than snowball well and know the tools that exist within it to let you do stuff. That is the most perfect sentence in regards to like game design I think I've ever been forced or asked myself to say. This video is not sponsored by anyone. I'm not even 100% sure if I'll ever take sponsorships on this channel if they're ever offered to me, just because like my point and purpose of this entire channel is probably unintelligible to normal people because I am not a normal person, but like I really don't care that much about getting famous, and kind of it would be really, really helpful for my own mental health if I did not. But I want the games that I love to be awesome, and I want the games that I love to have awesome communities associated with them, and I want the games that I love I want those games to just do well. I want the games that I love to do well so that I can keep playing them and keep getting new content for them. And that's why I make content myself. That is why I make content myself, to encourage true artists to continue their true artistry in ways that make me, just a crazy little boy at home, happy. Because this game makes me so unbelievably happy. You have no idea. I guess, do you have any EXP? You have 0 EXP. Just go disband. Get out of here. Go do some science or something. Probably has something more important to do, right? Yeah, he has more important things to do. Probably could have a 4th chopper there if we wanted, but I don't know. It's
a new independent
so nuts.
And
so nuts.
Time will tell if they are helpful.
All right, so this is one where we can like drop an outpost and give it to them, right? When it gets to this point. No. Why can't we do that? Actual multiplayer pros, please help me. Like I know that there is a way to transform a thing into a city, but I completely forget how to do that in game right now. Cuz I just like am grotesquely out of practice. So if you know how to do that, then share that information with the world. It's better for everybody. Yeah, all right, that's fine. You know, we really do need a 3rd city in order for us to scale our knowledge, though, Walker, or research, our beakers, whatever the research is called in this game. Yeah, we really should have had a 3rd city by now. Jesus Christ.
Opens elsewhere in the world.
Walker.
Precisely the
Walker.
Kind of thing
you say you're gonna like make a video where like people can learn mechanics of the game and also why you love the game. And instead, it's why you love the game and should probably pay attention to what you're doing while you're talking at the same time. All right, you find an independent unit without a territory, and you give it one of your outposts. Okay, so if there's just like a dude wandering around out here, then I can drop an outpost and give it to them. Because I remember that there was something in that, but I really have not practiced enough to like feel like I remember the actual mechanics to tell people. You click on the city left, choose an outpost, and click liberate. Oh yeah, kids, and that's been core of the game since the very beginning, is giving outposts to folks to turn into cities for you so you can conquer the cities. Actually, you know what? We're going to talk about fundamentals of game design there is something that I know that everybody in the multiplayer community calls out Amplitude Studios for, and I feel like I have to lend my voice to that. The way that you're supposed to build low late game infrastructure is incredibly hostile to new people for absolutely no reason. Like, there is no reason in any game in the universe that building stuff should be revolve around you building a city and then immediately merging it into another city. That's not fun, and it's not intuitive. If you're gonna include that in this game, Amplitude, and like keep it rolling forward, then please, for the love of God, like, include it in the tutorial, or make it just like really, really obvious that that's what they're supposed to be doing. Or just like, I don't know, you could make some of the basic infrastructure actually buildable. That's the other way that you can get around to that. Every 4X has a ridiculous number of pieces of infrastructure that you're not supposed to build, but like, they've sort of fixed it with the merging thing, but really only sort of. And I don't think anyone enjoys it. It's there as a core mechanic to offset infrastructure widget problems, but you can just make the widget problem go away. I know you can. You guys have the skill. Have faith in yourself. Do your thing. All right. Well, we are just playing hilariously bad here, but that's okay. I am gonna have a great time vibing and talking about nonsense. Oh, this is something that we're gonna probably need to revisit in a more useful pedagogical thing, but like, I also really like the way that outposts work, like outpost building works in Humankind, because of the way that it tests tempo. So like, you want food because it's a 3.5, and you just want pops because it's a 3.5. So like, you kind of always want your outposts to just like generate a ridiculous amount of food, but you can build them with industry. And so like, the way that you balance where you build an outpost is really interesting. And then they also have the tools necessary for you to like move the outpost in question. You have ways to modify the how long it takes you to build the outpost associated with how many units you dictate are going to be building it. And because like turns are life in a 4X, that means that the player has like ridiculous amounts of player agency over how they actually utilize and like leverage their outposts. That's just good. That's great game design. Like, it's unbelievable how clean that is. But I don't know if the tutorial tells people that. I think the tutorial should do its absolute best to apologize to the entire universe of normal people who are not Walker, for how hostile they are to new people in regards to teaching them basic fundamentals. And then teach them the basic fundamentals. Like, teach people to chop things. Teach people to ignore the stuff that doesn't matter. Teach them that, like, opportunity cost matters in the 4X. And you need to be careful of like, what you're building and how you're evaluating stuff. And then, you know, don't be just, like, negative. Obviously, like, you can show people how to do sweet stuff in a tutorial and have them have fun. And I think if they also did the tutorial on Blitz, that it would probably help new people play better, because like, people are so used to playing on endless speed of everything because they're used to just playing single player, that if you're playing on endless speed on any 4X, it's gonna hurt your play patterns. Like, I promise, it's gonna make you think that 4X is working very, very different and incorrect ways. Yeah, all this stuff really is nonsense, isn't it? You got 2040 production coming in. I guess we could jam some extra makers quarters for just production value. I don't know. This game is nonsense. Walker, you're just not paying any attention. You're just building nonsense so you can do a timing attack now, aren't you? I guess we are. I think that's going to be what we're going to do here. So we're going to set up for a timing attack in case anybody like wants to do that in Age of Wonders 4, because it'll have pedagogical value for the other people who watch my content, I suppose. And then that I think will probably be what we're doing today. And then we'll come up with a system for coming up with something useful for Amplitude to actually like see if somebody on YouTube like wanders around and sees some of my nonsense again, because they've commented on one of my videos once. It was really funny. Like, I could tell that they even watched it because they said, "Hey, Walker." You don't know that stuff. You can't say hey Walker unless you've like sat through 400 hours of nonsense. And that is where it is. That's where this channel is. That's where Walker's vibes are. It's just all nonsense. Oops, not all nonsense. Yeah, whatever. We'll get pops. Just get pops. Get those pops. Eat those pops. Go crazy. I do feel like, although I'm telling people to like rush really, really quickly, there are a couple of things that in Humankind, I think normally I'm not a huge fan of buy rushing things when they're like a gigantic amount of pops, but buy rushing is one of those things that I think the game should probably teach people. Do not be afraid of buy rushing. It's just mostly good value to buy rush things when they're like this close to being done in basically every single 4X that has ever existed because of what it does to your tempo. You just want, if you have a building that is 95% done, it does nothing for you on the turn that it is like finished most of the time. If you want to not include buy rushing as a core like piece, then you can have it score itself on the turn that it is built. But if you're not including buy rushing, I don't know if you're including I don't know if you're making a 4X if you don't include buy rushing. That is fundamental design space for them. Yeah. Sure, yeah, whatever. We'll build granaries, and then we'll build warriors, and then we'll flip to swordsmen and kill somebody. Yeah, pass. Whatever. Get out of here. Oh yeah. All right. So let's choose now, because we're just gonna do a sweet timing attack with swordsmen. I guess we'll do Praetorian guards here. But I think that largely I do still like the play pattern of like attempting to fight for either Morians or Persians, because those are just like very powerful tools that I've found in my experience. I've been pretty happy with Mayans most of the time, but like I think if you're trying to do a bunch of build industry stuff, that you do need to know what you're doing, because like this is one of those widget things where if you're just looking for like production straight into your cities and not the production that you can actually get from leveraging chopping, then you can absolutely get confused. Oh man, yeah, I mean it is absolutely easy to know that you're Walker if you just like watch Walker just like vibe into outer space. Yeah, I heard that the Persians got nerfed, and I think that is a good thing. I'm not here to like say I don't think that game balance, that there should not be imbalance. I think there should be the right level of imbalance to make people feel the basic real laws of 4X game design, which is get as strong as you can, as quickly as you can, but because of the way that fame punishes you for exclusively snowballing, I think that the game can do a better job communicating that to people, and maintain the imbalances that exist or smooth them out in ways that make people feel like they themselves need to balance snowballing versus fame. That's what the game should be doing, because that is what the laws of the game do if you're paying attention. But like, because I'm assuming that the tutorial is not galaxy brain nonsense stuff, that like people probably just don't get that, and that's a fixable problem. Very, very fixable problem. All right, so we need 3 turns to get that stuff online, and we really want to just get 1,000,000 warriors onto the board now. And then just go kill this guy. So yeah, let's start dumping warriors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 6, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then open up and grab. Wait a second. Army comp. This is another one of these things that I don't know. Again, if the tutorial helps people know this or understand this, but like a very powerful tool in this, in my experience, has been starting on conscripts to like just dump stuff onto the board and then switching into professional soldiers whenever you're ready to fight people. And I don't think that the tutorial tells people to do that, but that is very good. It is very good if you play enough. I've felt that play pattern has produced results that I was very happy with. This is 6 pops, but it's already producing a population that kind of doesn't do anything, so we're just gonna buy rush the greenery out. Set up standing for 4. I don't know, man. Just like build something. Just build something over here. It doesn't matter. You have no pops to build units, because you burn them all on autos. The way that you do. The way that you know you do. Alright, so let's set up a couple of cash boys. So that way, whenever we get to oops all warriors, that we can still upgrade them. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. We don't have any choppers down here though. We'll have to reconfigure some choppers into this area so that way we can get some real industry on that city. Oh, speaking of real industry onto that city, let's go nuts. Let's go absolutely indiscriminately nuts. But you don't have to go indiscriminately nuts, because, again, the game's got fundamental tensions. Anytime you build a unit, because the unit produces, it takes your population out of the city and puts it on a unit, you cannot just brainlessly make units in Humankind. You have to brainfully make units in Humankind, and that is just dope. That's just dope. That's great game design. You should be really happy. We really do not need this many warriors to do a timing attack against an AI, but I just kind of want to show it off because I think it's fun and very few people do it. But this is how you fight in a 4X, by the way. This is how you do it. You just get a lot of power really quickly in a small window of time, and then kill somebody. Yeah, whatever. Just get over there. Come down here. Do this. Got 3, 6, 10 warriors there. That's enough. The 10 warriors is 100% enough for this fight. Go. There we go. Yeah, come down here. Yeah, it's just, for me, it really is just 100% tensions, and that's great, and I love it, and people should vibe with it, and we will do some content to help people know how to play cleaner. we will do a video that is intentionally designed to be useful to people who want to learn how to play the game rather than just vibe it. Yeah, exactly. Sino, have you read this, the Sulla speaker AAR on Sulla's Sulla's website from 20 years ago? Because I gotta tell you, I have read that AAR probably 5 times. It's so good. It's incredible what they are able to accomplish, both in terms of mechanical accomplishments as well as in terms of I just think that that's one of the best pedagogical tools that I've ever had access to. So man, that was a real masterpiece and a great thing for the community that those guys decided to put that up there. Just great. But I mean, Civ 4 also has some things that I think probably are just misunderstood because they aren't contextualized well for the players. I know a lot of people don't like doom stacking in Civ 4, but because of the way that you can deal damage to doom stacks by catapults and horse archers and stuff, it's really not as brain dead as you would expect. It's a lot more serious once players get seriously high level. And that is another one of those things where it's just communicate better with your player base for Axis, and you guys will enjoy each other more. It's not that complicated if you just teach people how to play the game. Yeah, come back. I could just expand that. This is now into pure timing attack territory. We're not doing anything else, Walker, and you're just clicking on things just to waste time because you like clicking on things to waste time, and don't lie to anybody. Don't you lie to anybody. I know you. I can see you back there. Alright, let's finish this Swords Master. And we'll get some cash. And that is nowhere near enough cash for what we were trying to do here, so I guess I'm gonna drag 2 more pops over. We should have way more cash, but we should be playing better. But you want tons of cash for this, because you just go ahead and you just click upgrade on all these warriors, and then they do their thing. Well, I don't even care that the Doomstack problem existed on paper, because it really didn't exist in practice. If you knew how to play Civilization 4 well, which I, to be clear, do not. I play it relatively well, but I know I know good play patterns because I have been taught good play patterns by much better players, and doom stacking is really not as big an issue in that game as people make it out to be. Because the vast majority of the time in Civilization 4, like, they actually make the tools necessary to counter doom stacking available to you in the game through splash damage and collaterals. So, like, you can kind of fight back very cleanly against doom stacks if you know how to do it. But the game's like 30 years old. It's older than most people in the universe now, I think, probably. So it has some problems, and that's okay. It has some problems, and that's okay. That's just the way it is. Whatever. Just, you could literally be queuing nonsense here, Walker. Why are you clicking? Stop it, please. You're talking about not hurting the people at home, and here you are just hurting the people at home. It's so silly. All right, so we're just gonna pretend like we have 5,000. Oh, we don't even have any iron built. All right, we can fix that. We can fix that 100%. We can build iron. So build some iron, save ourselves a fortune. I guess we'll grab this too, because this is also some iron. And then we can grab that with some influence, and then that'll make buy rushing just like, or buying out the upgrades way cleaner on those guys. And I guess we can also fight some animals for some cash. This is another one of these like snowballing problems in regards to mammoths. If the mammoths were worth way less food and influence and way more gold, then I would, honest to God, even if they kept the sanctuaries in the game for mammoths, I would probably not apocalypse them as early. You probably still want like a ridiculous amount of food, because ridiculous amounts of food are just really good in any 3.5s, but like cash really is very, very, very important once you reach this point in the game. Yeah, let's go over there. Let's go over there. Let's go over there. Let's go over there. Bring everybody in the most uninteresting and boring way possible, Walker. Just wander units around while not engaging with the universe. No, I'm very tired. I was up very late last night last night rewatching Vivisection just because I really do enjoy that video. I think it's fun. I think it's hilarious. I really hope that people learn from it and can play the game better than I can, because I know they can. Like, I'm not actually good at video games. That's not my point. That's not my purpose, to be good at video games. My point and purpose is to devour video games like a child covered in, like, refuse. That's how I love to interact with the universe. It's just covered in the entrails of whatever video game I've been playing recently. Oh no, I lost the movement points on this thing because it got into that fight. I don't know. That should not be like a basic thing for players. If you're hurting me because I'm not paying attention, then you're hurting new people because they're not paying attention. I don't know. It's really absurd. Like, I think that content creators have a lot of different goals in regards to their own content creation, and that is a good thing, right? I think everyone should be able to do whatever they want to in whatever ways they want to, as long as they're not hurting anybody. But like, I try to be pretty good at video games sometimes, because I just do think that if you want to create content that people will find pedagogically useful rather than just as entertainment, that you should do your homework. And that is also kind of why I'm doing the multiplayer stuff like off stream, because I wanna update the tier list for Humankind, because I feel like tier listing in Age of Wonders 4 is bad because it hurts creativity, but that tier listing in like Humankind is actively good, because I think that the lack of game balance is a good thing, and that people should be picking the things that are good in order to create pacing that is good for everybody. So I'm committing very firmly to redoing those tier lists, but in case it's unclear from like how much energy I put into making the ones for Age of Wonders 4, I'm not gonna do that until I feel like I'm ready to make a tier list that will actively help the game go crazy, or at least actively help the people that I am playing with not get misled. Alright, well, whatever. This is gonna be the laziest timing attack in the universe because I'm just like not paying any attention. But you absolutely, and we have done this in some of the multiplayer games. You absolutely can have 8 swordsmen or 12 swordsmen right now if you are good. If you're good and paying attention and researching things in the right order and not just vibing into outer space like a nonsense kid, then you can have a million swordsmen here and just like brutalize people if they are not prepared for it. And that is how you're supposed to play like a 4X warfare game, I think, most of the time, is not to be like, I'm just gonna rush you with stuff, but I'm gonna rush you with good stuff that costs me very little in the fight itself. Because in the fight itself, if you have astronomical margins, then you're not gonna lose anything and your economy will grow. Yeah. Alright. Whatever. God, Walker, stop it. Stop it. Stop getting distracted. You're trying to kill somebody. Please. 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 just keep your eye on the ball for once in your life. Anything. I'll do anything. Where are they? Where's Black's army? Is this seriously? If this is seriously where Black's army is, and this is the entirety of Black's army, then like, I don't know, man. I feel like the AI could be stronger. Not as a form of like disrespect towards the AI or saying that we really need the game to be like inaccessibly difficult, but I think the game's AI should be a pedagogical tool. That's really where I think every game's AI should be. I think they should be tools to help people learn play patterns that make sense if you're paying attention to the game and playing better than this. And I think Amplitude can do that. I think they can change behaviors in ways that change the behaviors of humans. Alright, Axum, you're dead. Oh, right, Axum's dead. So we actually can just like kill Black here, can't we? Yeah, we can just go kill Black. Like, we're gonna have 10,000 Praetorians. Or 5. We're gonna have 10,000 or 5. How do we translate Walker's hyperbolic nonsense into something useful? How do you translate Walker's nonsense into something useful? Look, the true strength of a timing attack, if you've ever successfully done it, is so much higher than this. It's ludicrous. But that's mostly because if you use timing attacks against people and they don't know what's up, then they're just like wandering around with like 4 scouts and you have 12 swordsmen, and it is a very lopsided battle. It is a very, very, very lopsided battle. And you get cities for free, and because this is a 3.5 and not a 4, you do get actual scaling on your cities, so like just eviscerating people in this game is pretty good. But I think that unlike in Stellaris, where like, this is again not a ding against anybody, this is like Walker just vibes and thinks about like everything in the terms of what are the things that I love about this and what are the ways to improve it. Stellaris is a nonsense video game that has horrifying complicated problems for like sanity and normal humans, because in Stellaris there is ridiculous amounts of scaling in your solar systems, especially in another player's capital on turn 1, right? Like one of the other reasons that like in Age of Wonders 4 Russia is just bad is that like if you look at the basic production of another player's capital versus just fighting a tier 3 free city, you should 1000% just conquer the tier 3 free city. There's way more useful things in it than there are in an opponent's capital. The opponent's capital is mostly just for making units. But in a 3.5, all the scaling is like, or most of the scaling is in the things that you build. And in Stellaris, there's also just like ridiculous amounts of population in your city or in your solar system. And so like everyone has a very strong incentive to murderize everyone immediately rather than develop their own colonies. And then because of the way that like everything in Stellaris is hyper optimizable, it turns into just like brutal, unnecessarily ridiculous rush fests every single time as a fundamental output of that game's like rules and the way that their economies work. And that just makes people not understand 4X's, and that's Stellaris's fault. Like I was vibing at like Shinshin's like group the other day, just watching him and his friends play Age of Wonders 4, and I gotta tell you, those guys are, some of them watched Vivisection. Those guys are gonna be like so much better than me in 3 weeks that I'm probably gonna be hanging out in their Discord and just like watching them play the game a lot. So if you want to watch Walker just like go off king and like get excited about other people playing video games, keep an eye out for that, because if Shinshin Variety Hour and his friends keep getting stronger, they are gonna go kill Frieza, I promise. Like, I've just been down here krillining and like getting slapped around by like Yamcha or whoever, but like those guys were much better than I was when I was watching them. They just didn't have any play patterns right because they did not understand the meta, and now they understand the meta. So like if you dig watching like content creators who I think are probably going to be awesome very, very quickly, I keep an eye out for that. Where are your warriors that you don't have to waste gold on, Walker? They're right here. We're just gonna chuck some more Praetorians down. This is also sweet for just like timing attack purposes. If you're trying to bulldoze somebody in Humankind, being able to heal your units for like pittance is fantastic. Just the best. Just the best. Walker, are you upgrading things without? No, you do have the iron. Good. Whatever. We're researching writing on turn 31. That's where this video is now. We're researching writing on turn 31. Oh, good lord. Walker, please, just station these here. You really don't need them for attacking black. Just let the people at home do their thing. Why are you trying to galaxy brain stuff? That's like also kind of why I'm just doing other content beyond Age of Wonders 4. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm it's not that I'm burned out on content creation there. I'm just like burned out on fighting communities there, and I feel like I deserve better for my time than to like feel like I have to get in fights over stuff because people refuse to watch my videos and refuse to learn the game. And that's kind of like where it's been for a year and a half over there, except for the beautiful people who have wandered by my channel. But there are not enough people who do that, and I know that I am partially responsible for that with the way that I thumbnail things, but it's just kind of, it's what I need to do in order to make sure that I don't get the kind of comments on YouTube that make me feel like I just don't want to make content. And I know that that's a silly defensive strategy, but it's a silly defensive strategy that I hope everybody here can appreciate, because it really does help me create content that I create nonsense that I love to watch. Alright, so you got... They did it! They defended against this! We're gonna die because I played badly in the early game. Oh, yes! Oh, I'm so excited! I'm so excited, you guys. Like, I don't know, maybe a couple of patches ago, I was just like doing like insanely loose practicing with timing attacks to see how brain dead I could get. They have more strength than we do, and we're gonna die. Yes! Ah, excellent. Excellent. So in a good timing attack, you have a better like hold on how much resources you really need in order to do all those upgrades, and then from that you'll actually get an emergent property of like just get as strong as you can as quickly as you can in a short period of time, and then you can do a successful attack. And this was a demonstration of an unsuccessful attack because of bad micro early, and that's where I think doing an educational thing will probably be useful, because I know I can play better than this. I know I can play better than this. I have, and I think once we do a combination of here's why you should love Humankind because it's an incredibly beautiful game, and hopefully Amplitude fixes the problems that hold it back from its fundamental beauty, and also like maybe I'll teach people how to play it, then I think we can do a lot of things here. But I think that probably is the end of the Vibe stream for today, because I do kind of need to do real content creation things that are probably useful algorithmically, like starting working on the guide builds for Age of Wonders 4. So if you love Humankind and you love Amplitude Studios and you love all of this sort of stuff, I'm not teasing you. This is not me saying this is a thing that I'm thinking about doing and I'm like on the fence about doing it, and then I just like kind of blow everybody off in like normal Walker channel fashion. We're gonna do a lot of Amplitude Studios stuff starting next year. So if you like Amplitude Studios and you love this style of content where it's like it just like boiling over with unfettered passion, then subscribe. If you are exclusively here to learn mechanical things, then I guess just you can watch, but I kind of don't need those subscribers. I want subscribers who love video games and want to love video games too. All right, that's Walker. I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow, depending on how spicy I am, because I might legitimately do the tier list of all of the pre-constructed rulers in Age of Wonders 4, because I think that video would be hilarious, but dumb. And as a stream, I think it'll just be hilarious because nobody will watch it, and that's my vibe. All right, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.